Hi. Welcome everyone to the Streakers On podcast, live edition with the Ottawa Redblacks getting back in the playoff race with their second victory of the season, demolishing the Calgary Stampeders. Now, you're going to see the excuses right away. They had a lot of players injured and all this and that, but I don't think that's an excuse. I mean, Calgary should have showed up a lot better than they did tonight. Would you agree, Dan?
Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah, Walker's an experienced quarterback, but he wasn't getting much time in the pocket. The receivers are dropping balls like crazy. The running game was non-existent, and Ottawa got 31 points against your defense. Hello. Special routine receiving wasn't getting any yardage. Like, it was just bad all over.
No, I will say, I bet you Ottawa's happy with this win. I mean, their defense played well, creating 3 turnovers, which is something I said they were going to have to do. And I said something that they would do, by the way. And they created 4 turnovers. There's 3 picks and then a turnover on downs. To evaluate PJ Walker's game, and that's really what I want to break down for you a little bit here. And unpopular opinion I have. Truth bomb. He didn't play that bad.
He didn't play that good either.
Okay. He showed a lot of promise at times in this game. He put together some nice drives. He did manage to move the ball downfield. Dan, you said you didn't think he'd even put up 100 yards. He did throw for 273 and a touchdown. Yeah, he did throw 3 interceptions as well, including a pick 6, which the pick 6 interception for me was definitely the really bad one. But Dan, but before you go on about anything here, look at Bonner's first start in the CFL for the Stampeders last year. He threw 5 interceptions and could barely throw over 200 yards. He was terrible. PJ Walker showed a lot of promise. He clearly is not used to the 12-man on the field, like as dumb as that sounds. I think especially his first interception, he just lost track of one of the extra players. And what people do forget is the Canadian game is so different than the American game. It's a big learning curve. Look at Johnny Manziel. He literally won the Heisman Trophy, and he was terrible in the CFL. Mm-hmm. He literally failed his drug test on purpose. He admits now because he couldn't play with these players. He admitted that in a podcast. And all I'm saying is, I think with PJ Walker, obviously he needed to be better. But this is something you could build off of with him because he does certainly have the arm talent. He does have mobility. He just has to learn to read Canadian defenses because they are differently schemed.
See what I think about your comment, Mr. Jacob?
What?
When I was 5, I played with blocks. I showed really good potential of being an architect.
Not the same. Yeah. Dan, there are some CFL first career starts that are unwatchable. Mm-hmm. Just hear me out for a second. If Calgary doesn't take the penalty that takes away the kick return for a touchdown, so there's 7 points, that puts you to 17. Paredes misses 2 out of 3 field goals. Mm-hmm. So let's add another 5 points. That's 20. Pardon?
2 field goals would be 6.
But he got 1 rouge, Dan. What's 6 minus 1?
Okay.
So that's 22 points right there. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, this is a very close game.
True. And it's not all his fault.
The running game, too, for Calgary the running game for Calgary was just pitiful.
Why do we not use it much? That's what I don't get.
Because, Dan, on 7 carries, they only got 11 yards out of Mills.
Yeah.
Like, the running game was just not there. Also, too, I counted 7 drop balls from Calgary wide receivers. including 2 from Dominic Rhymes, 2 from Eric Brooks, and then there was another 3 from Baldwin. I know Baldwin, this was his first game, so fine. But Dominic Rhymes and Eric Brooks, you got to be better with a guy coming in for his first career start.
Was it his first game this year? I think he played last year, Baldwin.
Nope.
Oh.
So I will give him a
year?
bit of a pass, but I need and give Ottawa all the credit that they deserve here, right? I mean, Drew Brown, 19 for 27, 225, a touchdown and interception. I thought the first half was Drew Brown's best half football he's played all season.
I agree, yeah.
I think Ottawa just felt like we're not going to push the ball downfield because after the one pick that unfortunately Calgary only turned into a rouge, which is part of your problem here, right? Points on turnovers were 14-1. But you look at that, and I think Ottawa just went, you know what? We're just going to make Calgary beat us at this point. But they did some things that I said they would need to do. Eugene Lewis had 5 receptions for 110 yards. You had to get Eugene Lewis in the offense more. William Stanback was used more than he'd been used in the past. 13 carries, 52 yards, averaging 4 yards a carry. Both teams defended the run game well, but at least Ottawa stuck with it enough that it kept the passing game open.
Right, yes.
My big concern for Calgary is okay, with VA is in this game, you certainly have a chance. But I don't know if you're winning with 12 penalties for 113 yards. I don't know if you're winning with
a lot.
Field goals. I don't know if you're winning with
7 drops.
7 receiver drops. Right? So I don't know. This is one that, yes, PJ Walker, if I was giving him a letter grade, it would be a C- for his first career CFL start. If this is a veteran, it's an F. But for a first career CFL start, it's a C- because he he had a good completion rating. He did throw for over 250 yards. He was able to move the ball downfield and put together sustained drives.
Yeah, 250 yards is nothing to sneeze at.
He had 273 yards today. That's not terrible. Right? So, and I wouldn't even call any of that yardage garbage time because that last drive, his last touchdown drive, realistically put them right back in this game.
Right.
The problem is Ottawa scored 17 consecutive points.
Yeah, it's a problem.
In the first half, in the second quarter, right? And I was surprised to see Calgary's defense bending as much as they did.
Yeah.
So VA will be back next week. So, I mean, if you're a Stamps fan, Chazzy, if you're watching, I mean, I know he's just out doing some good old fam jam adventures. But if you're a Calgary Stampeders fan, you're very happy that VA is back. And if you're an Ottawa Redblacks fan, well, you're excited with this win because it puts you right back in the playoff race. Your next game is against the Toronto Argonauts on the 9th.
Boy, it's a big game.
If you win that one, hell, I mean, it's anyone's spot at this point in the East, especially if, let's say, Toronto beats Winnipeg tomorrow, which is plausible. Then Ottawa coming up next has got Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton, BC. So you're looking down that stretch.
500 almost.
You're looking down that stretch. If Ottawa can go on a run, because I've said this, I think Ottawa, Edmonton's the only team that is kind of, when they're in the bottom feeders, they're kind of, I feel their play has made sense to their record. Like, I feel both Ottawa and Toronto have had some really high moments in the season that they're just not closing out games.
For sure.
And now Ottawa closed out a game. Funny enough, they won the season series against the Stampeders.
Yeah, is that crazy? Whoever predict that?
No, I don't see the Stampeders taking a huge hit. I know these are back-to-back losses, but I would not be hitting the panic button because I do honestly feel if VA is in these games, I'm not saying they're guaranteed wins because there was a lot of other mistakes, but I will say, you know what? The pick 6 probably doesn't happen there because that was just that was a really bad read from Walker. And I think, again, that's just the inexperience on the Canadian football field. It is huge. It is so wide that to do those throws across the field, the ball just takes longer to get there.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe Two with VA, so many passes that were dropped are a little bit better thrown. You're not going to get 7 drops.
Well, the thing is, you know what? Walker's got a cannon of an arm. Maybe the players just aren't used to his throws. So time will tell, right? I do feel if you're the Calgary Stampeders, no need to hit the panic button. If you're the Ottawa Redblacks, you're very excited that your next week is against the Toronto Argonauts.
I was going to say, if the Argos lose against Winnipeg, they're hitting the panic button.
No,
You don't think
you're
so?
not. No.
Because now Ottawa's right back tied with you again.
Then all you got to do is beat Ottawa.
Yeah, true.
Which statistically, Toronto has been good against Ottawa over the last few years.
Right.
And I think, you know, just to remind everyone where we are at currently with the CFL standings, Hamilton currently at the start of this week is sitting first in the East. Montreal, then Toronto. However, Toronto does not actually have this playoff spot because of the crossover situation. Ottawa, between losing the first game to Toronto and playing one more game than Toronto, they are sitting in fourth. Now, here's where things get interesting in the West. Saskatchewan, no matter what happens, they will stay first in the West. Calgary will stay second in the West, no matter what happens. You have a bit of a mush between third and fourth right now between good old Winnipeg and BC, right? Because if Winnipeg loses and BC wins this, BC doesn't actually play this week. So Winnipeg does have a chance to put a little bit of a lead ahead. But if Toronto wins this one, they would now actually take over that final playoff spot in the East because they would have won the season series, tied with points. They haven't played BC yet. So, I mean, Toronto is still has a very good chance of holding on to the playoff spot, but the Ottawa Redblacks with this win are right there, and their first win at home. And Dan, you were saying just when we were watching the game at the end how loud that crowd is. So maybe Ottawa will build momentum off that fan base.
Oh, it was great to hear it. You know, they were so pumped and so happy. And when we made the trip to the Ottawa, they have a good fan base. You know, maybe it's not as big as a fan base as some other cities in the CFL, but you know, I think they still have a decent sized turnout, and they were loud. They were winning on the field right there. Holy cow!
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, and Ottawa does a really good job. They have live music before every game, and they certainly do things to try to bring in more fans into the stadium. But
they do.
I do want to talk about some off the field news in the Canadian Football League. And Mackay Polk was just cut by the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, what a surprise that was.
They're basically, from what reading between the lines, Dan Gray's former show, if you're watching, hello, Mr. Gray. They felt they needed more help at safety, and they did hint that he could be coming back on the roster at a later date. Now, if no one claims him by Friday, would mean he is available. So then it's up to Mackay Polk. Does he want to come back to the CFL, or does he want to hold out for an NFL position? That's the gamble he's going to be taking. Because if he does come back to the CFL, the Toronto Argonauts own his rights, which I'm assuming, as much as I think the Argos have a good receiving core, you're going to want to bring back another 1,000-yard receiver.
Oh, easy. Yeah, 100%.
You would probably see Myalja maybe being cut, or much as I like him, maybe Unger the third, just because of your ratio, right? You gotta, you know, Unger and Myalja are both Canadian, so never mind. Ignore me on that one.
Yeah,
would probably be Myalja being cut, as he hasn't really been used much in this receiving core.
Well, the thing is with Polk too is like, once can you see him coming to the Argos this year and then trying the NFL again in the off season? Can you do
Potentially?
That? Potentially, yeah.
Time will tell, right? It's just,
I'm surprised he got cut so early. Like, the NFL training camp just started.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, the preseason in the NFL for some reason is starting now. I'm still finding it very weird. Their Hall of Fame game is on a random Thursday night, and now they're not going to play another preseason game for a week and a half. It's just a very
kind of
odd situation. But we are also seeing Edmonton has placed Nick Anderson on the 6-game injured list.
Oh, no.
So this really hurts the Elks. I thought their defense played their best game last week.
Yeah, it's tough.
And now all of a sudden you have a big hole to fill, a guy that's the real leader of this defense. Him and Niles Morgan have really solidified the defense in Edmonton. And I think Edmonton is going to need strong defense to win and to try to get their second win of the year, as they are taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and the Tiger Cats have a hell of a good offense. So
that's a tough game.
It's a tough game coming up, and I would say too, it's a must win for Edmonton, as they are currently 1-5.
Well, especially after Ottawa winning. Now Edmonton's the only team in the whole league has only won one game all year.
Well, because you got to look at it. Let's say hypothetically for Edmonton, if Winnipeg loses tomorrow and then Edmonton wins on Saturday, well, they're right back in the race, right? They're only 2 points behind either Toronto or Ottawa, but potentially they're only 2 points behind Toronto for the wild card if Toronto wins. Right. And then they're only 2 points behind the BC Lions and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And this is the beautiful thing with the CFL, right? As much as a team like Edmonton, sure, they're 1-5 right now. They haven't been playing very well. Well, you string together some wins, and all of a sudden you're right back in the hunt, right? But losing Nick Anderson for a minimum 6 weeks, that's a tough hole to fill. He is, I would argue, he is this team's best player.
Well, very tough hole, Phil. And it's not just the CFL have these situations. You look at leagues that have more teams too. You look at the NHL, for example, both St. Louis and LA were pretty well dead last in the Western Conference when they, in January, when they went off to win the Stanley Cup for those respective years, right? So just because Edmonton's in the basement now, believe it or not, if they can pull together a few wins and squeeze into a playoffs are 1 games, anything can happen, and it can march the way back to the Grey Cup, as crazy as it sounds.
Well, exactly, right? Like, you just don't. It's anyone's right now. It's too early in the season to really write a team off.
We all kind of say it's a Labor Day that we really start seeing the formation of the standings and where teams are going to place and land kind of thing. As I would say, Labor Day is kind of like trade deadline in other sports. Like for baseball, today was trade deadline, for example. Now going into August, this is where we're going to start seeing, okay, what teams are going to win with divisions, what teams are going to get wild card spots. And the NHL, right after trade deadline, got about 20 games left. Okay, we start to see. So Labor Day, you're roughly about halfway through, just a little over halfway through the season. So that's when you really start to see, okay, who's who and what's what.
And just quickly to touch base on the Toronto Blue Jays, Atkinson, their GM, did speak to media after the deadline, and just a quote here that I think really solidifies why they made the moves they did, saying, we were a team where we were in a position to trade for areas of depth, and we had the top end talent across almost anything we wanted to access. So it just comes down to lining up what exchange is going to be relative for what team and the other team, and being able to acquire it. So basically what he is saying here is kind of what I said. The reason why they didn't go for maybe the biggest names on the trade list, they just wanted to, they added depth in their infield and they added depth in their pitching, which I think is kind of what the goal was for today. Right.
And they added a catcher.
And a catcher, exactly, which was a good idea of Kirk being hurt. And you know what? The Jays brought in some pitching. Speaking on Lewis Varland, he said he's been a very effective this year as a reliever. He has as good of a fastball as you can find, and he has a good curveball as you can find with a very effective cutter. He's extremely aggressive. He's coming after you, and that attracted us to immediately impact our bullpen in a significant way. And I think that's kind of what they were going for, right? Is that they wanted to bring in a reliever that can find the right piece. Atkinson is the best at not giving an answer. I get the point, but it's just his style. That's very true, Alex. He is a GM that I find doesn't always like to really like dive into the meat and the potatoes of it. I'll be honest, I've not been a fan of him the last few years.
No.
And I think this is kind of the year if the Jays don't find a way to either win their division or at least win a round, you're going to see people on the chopping block, and Atkinson could be one of them.
Oh, for sure. He put this team together, but I will say, as much as I haven't been a huge fan of his over the years recently, this trade deadline, he did exactly what he had to do. He had a good group. He didn't blow up the group. He traded Lager and Alan Rogan.
He didn't trade a lot of roster players, which I think
thank
is
you for
big.
your service, guys. We appreciate you, but let's be honest, we're kind of more backup players, and even though they were better than what they have been as their young careers, but not at the same level as guys like Badger and Lucas and those type of guys, right? So I think you better keep those two and trade the two that you did today. With the injury of Kirk, I think getting a catcher was a great idea. Like I said, I've done the popular opinion. I think that's why so many pitches were off in the Baltimore series, is because we didn't have Kirk controlling the catches and communicating with the pitcher. You don't realize how good of a catcher Kirk is until he's not in the lineup. Like, no disrespect to Heidemann, he's good too, but Heidemann doesn't have the gas to play as many games.
And he's just not an all-star, right? And I know, Dan, you and Lane were both talking about how you wanted the team to add some batting, and they did not add any hitting today. And this was addressed.
Is okay at hitting,
but this it's not really compared to what was out there. But it was addressed in the media by the GM, and he said we were also hoping to add to our offense, which we were able to do without subtracting from too many pieces that are already impacting our major league environment. So that is a very good outcome. And some of these players acquired will be here for some time. I don't particularly like this comment from him much because I don't really feel we improved our offense whatsoever. I think they just should have admitted, look, our main goal was pitching, which he did say that we were focused on prevention and adding to our pitching. And I feel we accomplished that goal. I just don't know why he said we added to the batting when I don't really feel this team added much to the offense. I really don't. I think they added a couple mediocre hitters.
Well, mediocre is better than nothing.
But what I mean is that wasn't what they were going after, right? I mean, at least unlike for example, the Edmonton Oilers, when they desperately needed goaltending, went out and got a bottom six forward. Like, at least the Jays addressed their issue, which realistically was relief pitching.
Yeah.
And, by bringing in Varland, and I really like the Bieber move as well, not Justin Bieber, who I'm sure will be attending some Jays games. But like, Bieber's a guy that has won a Cy Young award, but he's still got potential.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited to see what the Toronto Blue Jays do starting tomorrow versus the Royals. Really big series. I'm excited to see how the Toronto Argonauts play tomorrow versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Man, I'm just excited for tomorrow, apparently.
Tomorrow, the sun will come out. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, stay away. I definitely mix up those words, but you get the point.
Just as a quick reminder, though, for Stampeder fans, if you're feeling down with your second loss of the year, at least VA will be back next week. I mean, from reading between the lines, I think VA probably could have played today, but they just didn't want to risk it when they felt he was at about 98, 99%. Because you look at what Montreal did, right?
With the
and with Davis Alexander coming in, or, I could make the exact same argument with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Zach Collaros. Zach Collaros is now ruled out week to week. We don't know how long Collaros could be out. And let's be honest, Chris Strevler is not the guy you want to be running with when you need to start stacking up some wins to keep yourself in the playoff race.
No, for sure. I mean, the thing with VA, too, is he did travel with the team to Ottawa. He was on the sidelines with the team. So that's a very good sign with an injury. Why? If a player is like super injured, it's not going to get on an airplane and fly halfway across the country, right? So, that's a very good sign. Hopefully we took an airplane, bus. I don't know, but
You really think they took a bus from Calgary to Ottawa?
well, CFL's low on budget, right? I mean,
No. It's not that
yeah,
low on budget. It's not like this,
yeah.
where it's this tight of a budget. No, like obviously, the league can still afford to do some things, and especially if they do get that Amazon Prime money that we talked about in our pre-record. Right?
Yes, yeah.
So that's interesting too. With the Amazon potentially getting an Amazon Prime deal as early as 2026, I'm very interested to see how the fan base will react to this, because it is going to cost more money to watch games, right? And that is something people don't like to do. But if Amazon Prime is going to give $1.5 million, $2 million to get the CFL, which you guys could laugh at me if you want, that's what CBS is paying. So for a game a week. So if Amazon Prime is going to be paying the same, well, all of a sudden, you know what? That's bringing in some more revenue in the Canadian Football League, that in a league that needs it, right? There's, as much as I love this league, I love this game, it is not making a profit, right? And if they want to improve things in the game, then they need to make a profit. It's the same thing I say about like in the WNBA, for example, as well, too, right? Like these leagues, if they want to start paying these players what they're worth in all these leagues, they need to start making these leagues make more of a profit.
For sure. I mean, CFL's on the right track, but are starting to make money. I mean, they did raise the salary cap this year, which hasn't been done in like 10 plus years, right? So you don't waste the salary cap unless you're making money. So they're on the right track. But the more I think about this Amazon Prime thing, the more I like it. I think it's great growth to the league. And I think, will upset some people or bring a lot of new eyes to the league, which is what the league needs, because our friends have said it for themselves. Alex, friend of the program, for example, once they get to a game and they see it in person, they get hooked on it, right? So we can bring new eyes to the game, a younger generation to the game, because that's the other thing too. Unfortunately, there's a lot of CFL fans that are a bit older. We need like the younger generation. I mean, we're considered old nowadays, right? You need more like teenagers getting into Canadian football and not just going to games, but like playing Canadian football and playing Canadian football university and colleges, right? That's what will really grow this league and grow this game.
Quickly, before we do wrap things up for tonight, we just got an email in with a question.
Cool.
So that question is, do you see Nick Arbuckle going back-to-back games without a turnover?
Oh,
that's been an issue with him all year. He did not turn the ball over last week against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, however, you're playing in Winnipeg. It's another sellout. It's the loudest stadium in Canada. I'm not even saying in the CFL. I think it is louder than the Edmonton, or I think it's louder than Edmonton in the way it is during the playoffs.
Yeah,
so it is the loudest place to be. And I hate saying it, I won't be surprised if Winnipeg is able to create at least one turnover in that game.
I hate to say it too, but I agree with you, Jacob. As good as Nick Arbuckle has been, the Argos as a whole, are creating, there could be turnover. It doesn't necessarily mean interception, don't forget. It could be a turnover on downs. It could be a fumble. We've seen that happen in the Argos plenty of times this season too, right? So unfortunately, I think there will be a turnover. Good question.
And back to the comment section here from our good friend Alex. It's all got to be the way to sell the game. Amazon's a good start. They need to find a way to get more interaction. I do agree with you, Alex, there 1,000%. Because I think with Amazon, it's not necessarily looking for bigger numbers. It's looking for new numbers. And I think you will get new people watching the Canadian Football League if they're able to stream it.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, and it's one of those things. And two, CFL Plus also just sucks. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So
the concept's there. We got the right idea, but the execution definitely not.
But very good point, Mr. Alex. That yes, I do think that getting it to Amazon Prime could help the league a lot, and it's also just bringing more revenue. It's bringing new eyes on it, and the league does need to work harder with. I think they need to do more events, to maybe more gamification with what's going on in the arenas, to actually, like when they're doing all those like for example in Toronto they do the hamster wheel race, right? So could you imagine if you could vote on it ahead of time who's going to win, And the winner of that has a chance to win an Argo prize pack on who, if you pick the right person who's going to win the hamster race.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's a way to get people more involved and more engaged in the game.
I remember a couple years ago when we first started going to the Argo games more regularly again, they had an Argos app, and you could play trivia throughout the game on the
Yeah,
app.
they stopped doing the trivia, which was kind of weird because
Yeah,
the
they
Argos
just
app is still a
stopped.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, the Argos need to do a lot more, especially after going to a game in Ottawa, right? Like,
Yeah.
we really saw Ottawa has a lot more. Like, I mean, mind you, Ottawa's in a better location. I don't mean the city, but I mean, like, where the stadium is, right? Like, it's right in a really popular area with restaurants and bars, and it's a walking community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, though, they offer free shuttle buses to and from the stadium.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a way so people don't have to spend, $20 there and back on GO services. Or, it's a way too. If people maybe can afford the game, but they can't afford the game and the parking. So if you
Right.
offer a free shuttle from, let's say, I don't know, Sherway Gardens in Mississauga.
Plus, you're up the price of the games again.
No, I mean, like, offer a free shuttle from Sherway Gardens in Mississauga. That mall's got plenty of parking. I'm sure they could work something out.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's a way to get more fans in.
Yeah, who knows?
So, but I going back to Alex's comment, I do agree that more interaction is needed, and Amazon is a good start, as, let's be honest, most people in 2025 have Amazon Prime.
And, don't forget, you're right here. Gamification is the future. And don't forget here, we got this amazing tool called the Streakers app. And if you are doing contract creation or, have a team or a league yourself, we can do gamification with anyone for anything. So if you're boosting up esports channel, for example, or your followers or social media involved with gamification, or do your minor leagues and teams of gamifications, contact us and we can help you with that.
And exactly. And I will quickly run about a minute and a half video just kind of with Mr. Chazzy talking about a big special that's going on right now with that.
The world doesn't need another sports media company. It needs a platform to let every team, player, and creator become one. That's what we built. Streakers is a free app that gives anyone, teams, leagues, podcasters, influencers, the tools to launch their very own sports or esports channel. You can slide from pro sports to rec leagues to backyard games, run pick'ems, trivia, or 1v1 battles, live and on your terms. Even while I'm in the kitchen making breakfast, my audience is playing, picking, watching, and earning. That's what Streakers does. And we reward fans with custom trophies, progression-based moments cards, and the power to level up every time they play. Right now, we're inviting the first 1,000 visionaries to lock in Streakers Pro. One-time fee, full lifetime access. You get the tools, the channel, the monetization engine. Go to streakersgaming.com, explore the platform. If it hits a chord, sign up for Pro inside the app, and we'll walk you through how you build and monetize your channel. This is your sports channel. This is your moment. This is your Streakers. And now it's in your hands, the fans' hands. Let's go.
And also, as a reminder there, if you have not updated your Streakers app, please do.
Yeah,
even from when that last video was recorded and edited, the app looks even better than what it did then.
way better and way faster.
Remember to update your Streakers app ASAP and send us any feedback you have on it, right? I mean, this is a community and it's a community platform built for fans by fans, putting the fan back into fantasy.
We're all family here on the island.
Dan and I literally are family.
That's right.
Like, look how close we are. We're this close. Anyways, thank you very much. Oh my God, no, don't do that. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching the Streakers Island podcast. We will be back live tomorrow to tee up the Argos versus the Blue Bombers. Maybe we'll even try to jump on before the Jays game, depending on that timing as well, to try to tee that up too. A lot going on in sports. You may see a lot of our beautiful faces. Thank you very much for watching. I'm the self-proclaimed sports analyst, joined by Mr. More for Your Money.
Woo!
And we will see you guys on the flip side.
Bye-bye.